Hi, AfterBuzzers. You are watching the AfterBuzz TV show for Syfy's Face Off, Season 10, Episode 12, Skull Island, Reign of Kong. Join us as we break down the episode and give our thoughts and predictions. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, fellow Face Off fans? Welcome to Season 10, Episode 12, Reign of Kong. A favorite monkey. There was a lot of monkey business going on this episode. Well, before we dive into all of that, be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, keep up with us. Use that hashtag ABTV Face Off. We love hearing from you guys, especially for this episode. I know we all have, we got some feels. We got some feels. Some feelings. Joining us is our phenomenal panel. Everybody's here this week. Yay! Sitting next to me is the phenomenal Miss Alexis Torres.
Thank you. Hey guys, I missed all your faces last week. You can find me all over social media at atorres890.
And we have Emma Fyffe in the house.
That's correct. That's my name, Emma Fyffe. It's also my Twitter handle and my Instagram name at Emma Fyffe.
And Michelle Cullen.
Hello, I am back too.
Yay!
You can find me all over Twitter at Michelle Cullen. There's an underscore in there. It's my name. There's something in the middle. It's great.
Perfect. I love it. I'm all about it.
Suave.
I like that.
That's really good,
Smooth as glass, Michelle. Smooth as glass.
So this episode was crazy. It starts out with this safari ride through the jungle.
I thought they were going to get into a jungle cruise, but I know that's a different theme park. But
Yes, it's a different theme park, but good guess.
It did feel very, very theme park from the start. Just
it
a
did.
different one.
I know.
Yeah, and it was crazy too. I love Mel kicking it off by, I'm just glad Walter's on the outside, so if one of us dies, it's going to be him. It's like, all right, Mel.
Honesty is
Proving
good.
why we love you.
It's true. It's very true.
So this one, they had no idea what was happening. Melissa was already freaking out because she's looking out, seeing all these archaeological dig sites. But it turns out that it's kind of dinosaur related, but in true face-off fashion.
Yeah, no, for real.
There's a twist.
Ah, yes. Wouldn't be Face Off without the twist.
Yes. And we haven't had any allusion to Universal Studios yet, so we knew that was coming.
Surprised.
Every season, there's
It's
at least
funny.
one.
Yeah, it's funny what happens when you're part of NBC Universal.
These two
And Universal Studios Hollywood has a building named after your last name.
Yes, it does.
Westmore.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So they bring in Mike West, who is one of the creative executives for Universal Studios Orlando. There is a brand new attraction coming out that looks phenomenal. It's so cool.
Looks so good. I want to plan a trip to Orlando.
I was going to say, maybe we should take a field trip because I've never been
When
there.
does it open? Because I'm going to Orlando in November.
Oh, I don't know. I think they mentioned it in the
So I think we might actually get to check it out.
Summer
Nice.
2016,
Nice.
2017.
I'll be able to check it out then.
I think so.
You'll have to give us your
Please.
reviews.
I will. I'll see how similar or not similar it is to King Kong 360 3D.
Which I love a lot. So if it's
pretty good.
anything better than that, I don't know. I might
board.
I
It
just
seems
might just
like
explode.
this one has more characters. They're talking, even when you go through the queue, you're going through the jungle, you're going through these caves, so before you even get on the
it
ride.
definitely sounds like it could be really cool. I think it's going to be something that's more in the vein of like Transformers, and that there is going to be like actual moving around and like different rooms with some practical elements, and of course the 3D technology as well. So
Does Universal Orlando have a? Not to get too off topic, but do they have a Transformers ride? Or
yeah,
am I crazy?
They have the
Okay,
same
okay.
Transformers ride that we have in
They
Hollywood.
have the Spider-Man.
They have Transformers as well now,
Yeah.
but we had Transformers in Hollywood first.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to get
Yeah,
off track.
Adam, prior contestant,
Yeah, I was gonna
say.
worked on Transformers in Orlando.
Yeah.
Still want to
And
see
designed some stuff out here for this one, too.
Yes, he
So,
did.
yeah.
some little elements. But the really cool thing about this one is that the winner is going to get an all-expenses-paid trip for two to Universal Orlando.
Can I go?
To
I
ride
know.
the ride.
Coolest prize.
It's
No,
so
for real.
cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is they are given these different creatures from the ride itself. And they have to create the evolved version, the more humanesque, the intelligent version.
Yes. Is it-
i.e., one that can be made onto a person.
Yeah.
That's not CGI.
Yes, no, correct. Yeah, it's funny because every time they kept saying the word evolve, I was just thinking of like Digimon every single time the theme song kept playing. It was like, this T-Rex Digivolves to caveman version of it.
Caveman version, Rex.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like,
Just some dude named Rex.
yeah. I don't know. That's just, they use the word a lot, so my nerd brain was going pretty hardcore.
Yeah, it was kind of like King Kong Pokemon.
No, I'm down. I'll take it.
I am all about that.
No,
I think
I'll
that
take
would
it.
be a
Take my money.
delight.
I'm fine with that.
So for this challenge, I can't believe we're already down to the final four.
I didn't even know that it was finale
Crazy.
time already.
Yeah, we're already at semifinalists. We only have 2 episodes after this one.
Yeah.
Oh, bittersweet. Much like this episode. I think we were all on board with the winner this week.
Well,
Hands down. Oh, 100%.
Landslide.
Pinchers.
Melissa Pinchers a Go-Go. That's what the new name. Pinchers a Go-Go. Melissa had the arachno claw or the arachnosidious.
Very nice, Elena. I completely forgot. I was just like, that lobster creature. Yeah.
Because it really did. It looked like a crustacean,
Especially with
specifically a lobster, in the
guys.
best way possible. You know what I mean? It looks like a giant lobster insect.
Sorry.
With the little antenna being the one I thought very fair criticism that the judges had was that like these little guys, if you're listening, we're all just been making antenna motions.
If someone can make a gif of all of us doing that, I would be so happy.
Amazing.
Here it is. Everyone look
on Twitter.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That was your opportunity to make a gif.
Tweet it.
But I thought that was a very fair criticism that Glenn had of it, that the antennae were just a little too far down because they did kind of like droop.
I didn't even notice
into
until
the eyes.
he brought it up.
I agree though. It wasn't something that I thought of when I first looked at it. And again, he said a very tiny criticism of a spectacular makeup because, I mean, there were so many things on this makeup that I loved that I just could not get over. I mean, the mouth was unbelievable.
I wish you guys could have seen Michelle's face while we were watching the episode.
It made me uncomfortable in the best way possible. Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Like,
I feel we have on this show often.
Very often.
I hate bugs. I hated, my very first date, this is such a random story, but my very first date ever when I was 17
was with the bug.
Was to see King Kong in the theater.
Oh, okay. I was like,
It all ties in. Skull Island. And I got so uncomfortable that I like sunk all the way down in the seat when the bugs came on because it's a giant screen and they're giant bugs. And so to see someone with really effective pinchers on their face that move very well with the mouth, I can't help it. It's an involuntary like shoulder cringe.
No, it was great.
Totally.
I thought you were gonna hide underneath the desk. I was
I
like,
almost
Michelle,
did.
Come on. The episode's not done yet.
And the paint job on it too was just so good. I mean,
it's beautiful.
Listen, guys, I'm from New England, and like, there's a lot of varieties of lobster, and so to me, it was just really, really reminiscent of like an actual crustacean. You know what I mean? Especially like I went to aquariums a lot as a kid. I'm really obsessed with marine life, and specifically lobsters. Though I also am quite interested in eating lobsters. But that's the thing is like you see these really deep underwater crustaceans that have like evolved to live in the dark, and it just really was so reminiscent of that.
Really
and
good.
I absolutely loved this makeup.
I love too that she wanted to create the bumpy look, but she allocated her time while using the pearls and pushing those in.
So smart.
Instead of actually sculpting it. And it really is just a great example of work smarter, not harder. And she knew she was going to be fabricating so many pieces, and she had so many elements that she says, I'm going to have a headpiece. I don't need a cowl. It's going to hide it anyway.
Yes.
So don't
smart.
waste time building that.
Nope. Yeah,
Fabricate that piece. Fabricate the mandibles. Fabricate the pincher. Like
she did just so well with her hands and her feet. Like I was actually scared when she first said it that she was gonna do hands, feet, and all this stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, she's not gonna have enough time. But I think my favorite part is definitely that chest piece.
Yes. Brilliant.
How beautiful that everything just kind of blended together. It looked like coral. Like it was like perfect.
It did.
Oh, I couldn't stop staring at it.
And she utilized her time on the third day when the model was there very well too. She was like, I still have all of these things I need to paint and I need to make these, and it was just boom, 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 like paint, let it dry, paint, let it dry, paint, let it dry, and she just worked in a system, and she kept herself calm, and it was probably the best use of time
I completely
we've seen in a
her model
challenge.
Jordan, we saw him kind of helping out, working on things, and it's really smart when she can say, okay, this is something you can do. Help me with this while I do this. And
I like it when the models get involved.
I do too.
You know?
Yeah. I just think Melissa in this episode, again, like you were saying, Michelle, she just like budgeted her time so well. And Elena, you mentioned the thing with the pearls, and there was never a moment in this episode where they couldn't even find any drama for her. You know what I mean?
But it was interesting this episode because they spent so much time on Melissa throughout the episode before they got to the final, what it was going to look like. It was one that you're like, okay, this could go either way.
Absolutely.
This could be one, like, she could be going home or she could be just rocking it out.
I was really afraid.
Ultimately, exactly, it was just to show this really well thought out creative process.
Right.
And,
I agree.
And that was awesome to see, and the makeup was awesome.
And I love how confident she's gotten as this has gone, because she even says in her interview where she's like, you know, I'd really like to just pull out one more big win before the finale.
Crushing
which is
it.
like, that is the best mentality that you can have. Crushing it like a lobster.
That's why I was like, oh. See what you did there.
But yeah, that's the best mentality you can have going in, because she's not even, you know, she did mention, I really want to get to the finale, but it's also just, I know I'm going to do something awesome. Let's see how awesome it can be.
Yeah.
I love it. I think she's just doing a really good job, and I love how she was also running in the beginning. Like, she's really gotten into her own skin as like the episodes have progressed.
And they kept showing her talking about her son and wanting to bring him to Universal. So we were like, we want them to go.
And because that was the only one where it was offered who she would bring if she won, I was kind of like, I think she's going to win. Like, this could be me reading too far into editing, but I feel like she's going.
No, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Call there.
I thought the same thing.
Michelle.
Clever girl.
Clever girl.
Oh, wrong dinosaur. But yes, very, very well deserved win. Congratulations. Woohoo. Yay. So, another person who was kind of, it could go either way. Walter. They were saying, you know, because we were talking about Melissa's pieces and how great it was that it moved and that it had that moving element, and we loved seeing practicality and functionality. Walter really wanted to create awesome wings for his Terrapus Mordox.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yes, which could have
it.
been a pterodactyl bat rat. Which a little bit more.
Bat rat. I don't know what's happening with all these bats.
But it did. It looked like a pterodactyl bat rat.
No,
That's
it
exactly
did.
what he was really smart bringing the arms separate from the wings so that it did have the function of being able to fight. But he wanted to create these epic wings that would move spring-loaded, and then
They just didn't.
They just didn't. I mean,
bent.
I know that you guys are cosplayers. I mean, I've seen some wings that look really good, and they said that they've spent just days, maybe even months working on them.
Wings are a pain in the butt.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I know you guys would know better than anybody, because I've seen them, like, especially since WonderCon just passed, too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, that Hawkman's wings look awesome. And then there was something you're like, ooh, you did that last minute, girl. That sucked. But, like, he really put in effort. But I'm glad he didn't just scrap it. Because that's what I was afraid of, that he was just going to scrap his wings
Well, if he got
completely.
rid of the wings, it wouldn't have been the character.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think that, you know, the wings, they weren't what he wanted, but they weren't terrible.
No.
He should have angled them back a little more.
Yeah.
And like Glenn was saying, he could have made them folded up on the back, and it would have achieved the same effect. Yeah. But the wings really were not terrible. They did not distract from how good the face sculpt was.
So
That's
good.
true.
The thing for me is, I'm like, I understand if you took all of the time to lay these out, to use latex to actually craft the wings. They're not fabric. They're ripped latex that are then painted. And he was doing veining even on the wings.
Yeah.
That went so well with it. I understand why you would want to show them off. My thing is, I think he should have just moved them so that they went out instead of up.
Okay. Yeah, because it did look a little weird. It looked like just like banners.
Yeah, it was just a little too vertical. And I think if they were just a little bit more horizontal, because the idea was to have them fly up into that position, which would have been very dramatic. But if they weren't going to fly up at all, and he knew that because he knew while making that he wouldn't have time to go back and redo it.
Yeah.
I wish that he would have just bent the springs and angled it down.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted it to be more like 90s gargoyles kind of thing, where sometimes when they're walking, their wings are up. But they're just back a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I wanted. Or at least like what they do, where it's kind of clawed like a cape.
Oh, yeah, like a cape.
I thought that would have been
This is just making me miss gargoyles.
I was just watching it on YouTube because I love it so much. It's so good. I don't know if anyone's who's younger than anybody at this table right now who's watching, but you gotta go look at it. So good.
Like, man, if you like Star Trek: The Next Generation, you will like Gargoyles because it is all the same people. They're just doing the voices of gargoyles.
It's so great. But that's what I wanted. I mean, I don't want to nitpick on him because I thought his whole makeup was great.
I loved his makeup.
Yeah,
I really did.
I just felt bad that those wings were just giving him so much
And
trouble.
it looked kind of Buffy-esque.
It did. Very much so.
It was like, it's like if it evolved into a Buffy character from
I could see that.
prehistoric times.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffy can go either way. Joss Whedon.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the things that were really, really impressive to me about this makeup were, again, the mouth. Anytime you have that beautiful range of motion in the mouth, I'm always so impressed. Like, that really looked like it was part of the model's face. And also the eye sockets, the cavity around the eye was gorgeous.
And we all know that, like, most like, not all times, but on Face Off, we notice a lot of people have a hard time matching the eye sockets to the rest of their makeup. But I love that Kim actually brought up in the chat, so hi everybody in the chat.
Yay!
It also reminded me of Ian's bat from season 2.
Oh, yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
Good
like,
memory. But yeah, I mean, again, like, I thought his makeup was great too. I was actually torn between which was my second favorite makeup.
Torn like the wings?
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here. It's already started.
And my second favorite was definitely not the other makeup that stayed. So
we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But I don't want to leave Walter too quick because I really do think that this was one of the best looks. He's been just a consistently great performer this entire competition. Everything he's done has just been really, really good. And he went from being safe and bottom to then just like crushing the whole end of this competition.
No, he's so talented. I feel like he was just kind of like the sleeper hit of this season.
Yeah, he was.
You know what I mean?
I think, Emma, you were mentioning when we were watching, he kind of was like Evan.
Yeah, Evan came out of nowhere last season. I feel like Walter was more of a like slow build because I feel like Evan had more bottom looks than Walter. Like, I'm not sure Walter was ever a bottom.
Was he a bottom
look?
No, I think once.
He had a bottom look.
Once in a pair.
But he was in a pair. But like he
with Robert.
Yes,
that's right.
But for the most part, like he was safe every week. And I mean, he was not even top looks. He was safe every week.
Yeah, no.
And then slowly but surely, he just started like eking his way into the top looks, and then he won. And I just and you know, we had him here in the studio, and he's just so. He's very smart and has like a very calm presence.
I'm so mad I missed that.
I just feel like he's a person that I would want to work with if I were a director.
Well, Glenn even said this guy has vision.
He does.
And that's the big thing. And I love that this challenge too, that he said, you know, that he wanted to make it wrinkly and cracked because that's my style. And I'm like, I love that you know your style. You know, you play to your strengths.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
he has a fully thought out concept.
Yeah, and he did. And I mean, and again, you know, this just kind of goes back to, you know, the sculpt was so good and it was so well integrated into the face. I disagree with the judges who thought it was a little soft for their taste. I believe that was Neville who said that.
Neville said that he didn't think that this was his best effort, and I disagree.
I think that this was absolutely a huge effort on Walter's part, and the paint job was so good.
It was great.
It was really good. He achieved a beautiful skin tone.
He did such a great job of airbrushing those veins and then covering that. It makes it look so realistic.
Yeah.
And you don't even think about it, but you look at it and you're like, wow, no, this looks like this is a living, breathing creature. It doesn't feel like a character. It feels like a human bat boy thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But one that is not from the tabloids.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Yeah, true. Yeah. This is This is a real bat boy.
This was just like a throwback to the 90s all the way around.
Because Kim also mentioned that she had the biggest crush on Goliath. I'm like, well, who didn't?
Oh,
come on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
100%.
But they all agree with us about the fact that that he's only been on the bottom once.
Yeah.
So
And I love that he also integrated Michael Westmore's idea of, not making it that peachy tone, making it more tan. And the way that he colored it, I think, made it.
I agree.
Yeah, adding those
really
yellow tones was very helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It was one that read very well from far away
Totally.
and
and
close
up
up.
close, yeah.
Totally.
Which, that's the goal, man.
It
You
is.
want those wide shots and those close-ups.
Hey, man, gotta look good on all those angles.
quality.
Yep.
That weird indented eyebrow style thing he did above the eye. He blended the sockets so seamlessly and flawlessly.
I didn't even think about
and
that.
he did that wonderful thing that he was even concerned about at first because he was like, do
like
these
it.
read ears? No, not at all.
Did those
And
read ears to you guys? 'Cause
Not
it
at
didn't
all.
to me.
Didn't to me at
I
all.
had
So-
Mel's reaction, which was like, those don't look like ears, they look great.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, you're fine.
Stop talking.
You're fine. But I think that's what made that and the neck, for me, made the far away so much more powerful than if anything had kind of been left.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Totally.
Yeah, I think up to this point in the episode, we all were pretty consistently
Absolutely.
agreeing.
On board.
Melissa, clear-cut winner. Walter, crushing it. And then things went a little off the track.
So start pulling on them collars.
Yeah, if we were riding the ride right now, it would have gotten slightly derailed. So here's the deal. Rob has been consistently crushing. He has been great. He has been awesome. He has been, as we have proclaimed him, the curve breaker of this season.
time.
Every
He's
time.
been amazing.
But this week, he fell short. He had not the T-Rex, but the V-Rex, which is the made-up version that looks identical to a T-Rex.
Yes.
I think
It's
it's a
just
little
a
smaller.
Bastatosaurus
Oh Lord.
instead of a Tyrannosaurus.
It's as we all agreed, it's the older brother from Dinosaurs.
It is
that's exactly what it looked
100%
like.
the, again,
I like-
90s. All the gargoyles.
Michelle had a
Bad
really good description.
Oh, I said it was the older brother from Dinosaur if he tried like roids or something. Like something went awry.
And he just was in the wilderness just doing crazy stuff.
Teenage
That's-
angst years.
When he didn't cover any
I
of
was
where the
gonna
edges
say,
blended, I was like, put a vest on that man.
That the older brother from Dinosaurs. Well, I mean, first of all, they were like whole puppet suits, but like he's got scales on his chest.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, I understand that he was like really hitting that time frame, but I'm like, it could have just couple little veins, something, because
Right.
like you can clearly see
Cover
where
it
the
up.
end.
I don't understand what his costume choice was.
Just something. I don't know what was going on.
Well, then
with that.
he started grabbing just hemp fibers and was like, I'll just glue this all over it.
And I'm like,
dude.
so you couldn't glue it up here?
I mean, it was. I think the idea was like sort of a dinosaur caveman. So like, I think that's why that
more
he
like a
had.
toga.
He was supposed to be
but
the
it was
camouflage.
Yeah.
Toga.
I feel like at that point you should just be like, give me some extra fabric and then just
throw it
make
up
a
on there. That
highlight.
makes a cape. You know what I mean?
That was the other
whatever.
thing. It was a shiny fabric. It had a sheen to it that was like. It reminds me of like cheap costumery.
Discosaurus.
Like he went to like
It was-
Party City and
it
grabbed
was-
all the shiny fabric.
I take this curtain.
It was like
Sound
because
music went wrong.
because of the disparity between the beautiful sculpt on the
God,
face,
it was
paint job
gorgeous.
aside, because the paint job was not great. It almost felt like it was just a dude wearing a dinosaur mask.
It did. It felt very much. Well, but it also felt
really
like
good
a
dinosaur
dude.
mask.
It looked really good.
I gotta say, it felt to me like a dude who got a dinosaur mask that was like a dinosaur dog hybrid.
No.
I know because the silhouette was not
Yeah,
right.
it was
was
so
kinda
dog-like
weird. Yeah.
that it just seemed like this would be the pet of one of the other characters. Like that he evolved and his intelligence went as far as I like treats. And that was that was the end of it. Which mine hasn't evolved too much further than that, so I'm not hating on it. I also like treats, but
and don't get us wrong, guys. We don't hate Rob. Like, we don't
we love
stuff.
Rob.
We love him.
I actually saw Rob do a phenomenal demo at WonderCon this week, which was
I
really
saw that
cool.
picture.
Yeah,
that was
and I'll
amazing.
tweet out a video for you guys too. Use the hashtag ABTV faceoff. We'll send it out. But it was
I was just gonna say that it looked like a college kid going to a toga frat party with a dinosaur mask.
It really
like,
did,
I felt
though.
really bad.
I mean, this is the thing.
we're in the semifinals.
Scales on that face and on that cowl were unbelievable.
Amazing.
using the grid system that he
that was
did,
so
and then going
smart.
and rounding it out.
Unbelievable.
It was great, but one thing that I didn't get though was when he was like, "This is my first attempt at a dinosaur like creature." I'm like, "You did a dragon a couple episodes ago."
that different.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought he was going to be doing. So I was like, okay, so we're getting the dragon. Wait, why is that head so round?
But the scale sculpt being so beautiful does not like make up for the fact that the sculpt of the face and the cowl were not the right shape.
They weren't.
No,
And the paint job was pretty on the face and on the
didn't
body
fit.
didn't exist.
It wasn't
No, there was
finished
nothing
being
there.
applied. There was just a base color for the entire neck. It didn't blend. It was 100% unfinished. And it is a look
completely
that
agree.
if
Yes, I
anyone
completely
else
agree.
had walked on stage with that look,
They would have gone home.
it would have immediately been, well, you obviously know you're being eliminated. It wouldn't have even been a question. It would have been like, it's been great having you. Give us your last words.
Yeah. It'd be like,
Yeah.
and if I were in that situation, I'd be like, I'll just see myself out.
I
got this.
I got this. I'm
You
good.
see,
Thanks.
you
But
see that, I see that. I'm gonna go.
But after last week, Rob was even like, "Oh, I'm having time management issues." Then, and he's like, "I think this is one of my worst looks. I hate this makeup." And the judges all lost their minds over it.
It's crazy.
And this is the thing is like again like I love Rob. He's a lovely person. He's tremendously talented. This was so far from his best work. And as we all agree, if this had not been Rob, if this had been any of the other makeup artists still left in this competition, they would have gone home.
Yeah,
They
they would
would've
have
gone
gone
home.
home immediately.
Yeah, with no questions asked.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't even be tell us about your character. It would be tell us goodbye now.
You can go.
Because all of the other looks were so much stronger
so
than
on
this.
point. And it really did bother me that even Rob was like, I don't like this look. And the only criticism they really had were for this look. And, you know, it's weird when it gets this close to the end because you form such a bond with each of these people just watching it. And Rob was even the one who was like, you know, we're all too nice to say it's kill or be killed, but that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you are all so nice. And we love you all so much. And
No, again, in that
we wish you all could win.
I was gonna say, and that's something that we talk about on the show all the time. That like this show is not about drama between the contestants. It is about the drama of having to do a fully realized special effects
like
makeup
2
from
days.
concept to completion in 3 days.
3 days. Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah,
Well,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Unless you're Mel, who did do the entire competition
In
in 2
2
days.
days.
So I want to talk about Mel's look as well, because Mel couldn't decide what she really wanted to do.
Had a rough time.
with
She
her,
was.
yeah, her decantator.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, it was a bug. Her
really big bug.
bug man. Her big bug man. So she makes the whole piece and then realizes she has 4 static eyes. She has basically a beak. All of the elements. She pays attention and knows, these are things the judges don't like. So then she says, okay, this isn't really working. Michael Westmore comes in and even says, this really isn't working. She scraps it. She starts over. That one also doesn't really work. She scraps it. She starts
did
over
the same
again.
exact thing, and then she just changed it
Yeah,
up.
and she restarted 3 different times, but she said, I would rather have something I'm proud of than a complete look that I hate.
Yep.
So
And
good.
I think that is so admirable.
Yep.
And such a great way to look at the entire challenge.
And also, we have seen Mel do a makeup in 2 days before. I mean, she won the gauntlet, and rightly so.
Yes.
She's really good at making smart choices when she finds herself in a very extreme time constraint.
Exactly.
Well, ultimately, the third look, the third time's the charm. She finally goes with the last look. She cuts out just geometrical pieces and very intelligently is like, this isn't working. I keep wanting to change things. Instead of pulling everything off and having to resculpt over and over, I'm going to make pieces and I'm going to put those pieces together. And if I don't like the way it's working, I'll move those pieces around.
It was so smart.
And
it
was crazy. It was genius. And then her fabrication that she's never done.
I know.
Which she was like the big fat Greek wedding of fabrication. Like her Windex is duct tape.
Pieces of
just fixes everything.
Dab butt dough.
Dab butt dough. Yes.
I love that insect
Baby
butt.
got back.
Seriously. And like,
Baby got
okay,
thorax?
so
Is
let's
that what that's
Baby got
thorax.
So I want to talk about that and all the painting that she did on all of those pieces, because not only was it a tremendously good paint job, she also texturized the paint in a way that was that just added this depth and realism to it.
Yes.
She was so smart. Again, she, like Melissa, did not make a cowl because she didn't need to. She made that big, it was almost like a hood that she made.
So cool.
Which was genius too, having the idea of they have evolved. That is part of their evolution, is that this is now almost a piece of armor that is separate from their actual self.
100%. And honestly, the face was a very, very unique choice, and the more I looked at it, the more I liked it.
I also just loved that her fabricated pieces all had the same geometrical patterns. The fabricated pieces blended in with the makeup so well that it was kind of one of those things that you were like, what part is the anatomy and what part is what's being adorned to the creature?
I agree, and I agreed with, quite honestly, the one criticism that the judges had of this makeup was that they sort of wish, and this was also a sort of, because again, the more I looked at it, the more I liked it, but I sort of wished she'd incorporated more of a human mouth. But when I saw it actually opening and closing the mouth, I was like, you know what? I actually think I kind of like it.
I liked it.
I completely
I
agree.
wish they would have showed more of the mouth, the functionality of it.
That was the one thing I had an issue with, because I was like, oh, does her mouth move? I don't know if it did.
And then when I saw it move, I was like,
oh. All right, I have no complaints.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, V said, she's like, this is the best thing she's done on the show yet, which I disagree with.
I disagree too. It was amazing.
Because her gauntlet win was pretty spectacular.
So
I will have nightmares about that forever in the best way possible. But, I mean, this makeup was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I mean, it was so elegant and feminine while having a flat bug face.
It's hard to make a sexy bug. Like,
I don't know if I'd
go so far as sexy, but an attractive bug.
It was very attractive.
It was a pretty bug lady.
It was a cohesive, complete look with a good paint job.
Fabrication, wardrobe, everything was to a T, and it was beautiful.
As someone who hemmed her pants with duct tape in high school, I appreciated the amount of duct tape.
That was amazing.
That was in the, that was
not to get
speaking to me on a spiritual
too
level.
off topic, but I only have one duct tape story that I feel really proud of. My brother really wanted to be Goku so bad for Halloween, and my mom thought that Goku wears blue pants, not orange pants. And then she couldn't find orange sweatpants anywhere. So I went down to Party City, grabbed all the orange duct tape I can get, and I wrapped that baby up with orange duct tape.
Nice.
And everybody had no idea. They just thought he had really light, crazy pants.
That's
and it's
awesome.
My favorite thing. I was
Tape
just
your friend.
An excellent go-to.
It really is.
I had
a go-to for Goku.
That's exactly how I felt. I love it because my dad calls duct tape the Force, because there's a light and a dark side, and it's always there when you need it.
It is.
Nice. I love it.
I fabricated a necklace out of tinfoil and duct tape one time. I was making the dragon fang necklace that Daenerys wears.
Nice.
And I just put black electrical tape over it.
My dress form, I made a custom one that's all duct tape and an old T-shirt
I
that's stuffed
love
with
that.
magazines. So
Hey man, do what you gotta do.
we are on that duct tape train with you, Mel, and
I was gonna say, I tweeted her earlier today, and I was like, all aboard that duct tape fabrication train. It was great. I love that.
Toot that train whistle just like she toots her fabrication horn, as she should.
If Mel's makeup had not been as good as it was, because it was awesome, I would not be as mad as I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm upset because they brought her back. They saved her from elimination. They used their immunity.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like it was kind of like them pulling the rug out from under us as an audience because
she was a top look last week.
Yeah. And it was like, we're giving you this other chance, but we'll see. It's maybe just, it felt more like they were like, we have this immunity, we set it up, we should just use it. Unless, like, hey, we're going to actually take into consideration how awesome of an artist she is and how far she's growing. And how consistently every week is better and more.
Yeah.
And again, I love Rob, but they very clearly took his whole body of work into consideration when they...
Which they should have taken the whole body of this character.
Including that insect butt.
I'm like,
man.
And that's the thing is like, and I'm like putting my foot in my mouth here because like I know on past seasons of this show I have said, oh, they should take the whole body of work into consideration. And again, like... and now I'm mad that
we're
they did.
never happy.
I know, I'm never happy. But again, Mel's makeup was excellent. It was
great.
Completely.
And it felt like a kick in the thorax.
Yes.
It was not...
And
Yes. It definitely made that immunity feel so much more arbitrary than I expected it to feel. Like I felt so conflicted.
I was sitting there because you brought up the fact that when Melissa talked about bringing her kid with her, and when Rob said he's never been there at all, I was like, oh, that'd be crazy if he won because he's never been there before.
Yeah. I just and then for V to even say this is the best
I know,
that she's
when that's
done.
in her home.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
mad.
so great. We loved it. It was great. This other one wasn't really done. By good look that we all agree is phenomenal. We're all just like, what happened? Like I'm taking crazy pills.
No, like like I was sitting there going, like we were all enjoying the critique that both Mel and Rob got because we were like, okay, just okay, I get it. And then just at the very end, I'm just sitting there going, why do I have a bad feeling? I have a bad feeling about
Did
that.
she accidentally
I would just like to point out, talking about Mel's criticisms versus Rob's. Rob's, it was the silhouette is wrong, the paint job is bad. Why is this whole chest area with no scales just showing?
Also, you're going to the finale.
Yeah, and Mel's they're like, I don't know, that mouth might be a little weird. Like that was all.
That is it. It's also it's mind-boggling to me that they had all of those critiques up close, and then when they brought him forward, it was nothing but good reviews. I was just
so
very
confused.
again love Rob. You're
We love
fantastic.
you.
I love you.
I really do.
I'm just very confused.
It was weird. It was not what I was expecting.
I wish you guys could have saw us watching because we were like, what are we watching right now? Are we watching
What is happening?
I think we're in the Twilight Zone. This is what's happening. But again, we love you, Rob.
Yeah.
I will say, on a different Rob tangent, there was one brief moment where his hair was not in his ponytail, and
I'm
it had
sorry.
a beautiful flow.
Oh, I know.
And I think you
I'm
should
looking
wear
at-
it like that all
I'm
the
looking
time.
at you. Swoon. Like I was drooling all over the place because my God,
That
your
was
hair
like
looks
an
so
Adventure
good.
Time Finn moment where it was just like
yes.
hats off. And you're like,
I was like,
oh, he was secretly Fabio this whole time.
And then it was
Especially with
back
that
up
hair.
in its strict ponytail, and I was,
was
like, no,
like,
let
let
it
it breathe.
flow.
Let it breathe. Let it out.
those follicles glisten in the sun. I
want it.
Finish those lines.
I think maybe that's what it was. It was just locks. That was just distracting the.
You know what it was? I think that Robert's hex,
I knew it.
unfortunately, fell into the duct tape.
Yep.
And that's what it was.
That's
and
what it
then he
I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't. But
It
yeah,
was-
a lot
yeah.
of people. I'm trying to read the name.
chat.
Elaine. Alan, thank you.
Yeah, Alain. It's French.
Maybe they chose. Thank you. Maybe. Oh yeah, he did say he was from France. Maybe they chose Rob for his overall work in the season, which I did take into consideration. But then, like,
I mean, yes, that is what they did.
That's what they did.
Like end of story. That's what they did.
There's no way that's not what they did.
Because his makeup.
Mel even
it
said,
still hurts
I
my
think
soul."
I had a better makeup than Rob tonight.
God.
And yes, you,
You did, Mel.
You
You
did.
did. Absolutely
100%.
Absolutely.
You were robbed. It happened.
Yes, Emma
true.
made
I
a
don't know,
great-
I tweeted that
She didn't do it on
earlier.
purpose.
I
It just
didn't.
kind of happened, and that's why I said to the Bob Saget like.
It-
But yes, it was true.
Yeah.
Just
So
And again, I mean, at this point in the competition, it's like you don't want to see anyone go home because you're so attached to everybody. But
this one did rip my heart out.
really
I
did.
felt like
It
my
really did.
heart was what Walter's character
Was
was
eating?
eating this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yep, There's Bad Boy eating my heart.
Yeah,
But I
that the
have to
judges
say-
have ripped out.
I have to say though, I'm really glad that Mel went home with a really good look instead
I
of
am too.
Yeah,
And that she can hold her head up high knowing that everybody is going, what?
That's true.
Yes, that is
that's super
blowing up
true.
with positive
And,
Mel,
and I mean,
crushing it.
And I mean, whoever gets her on their team for the finale, like, what a leg up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
For
Because
real.
like she should be in the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
It should be other people working on her work, but you know.
yeah.
Now,
Really
before, we do have to wrap up, but before we do, I do want to get you guys predictions going into the finale.
Yeah, all right. A lot of people in the chat. Hold on.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Everybody in the chat is talking about, before we get into our predictions, because I know we're running out of time, about how that they want more women to win the show than men.
I mean,
'cause-
Nora won last season, which
I
was
know,
great.
which was
so
great.
great.
I miss you, Nora.
And Darla won. There's been consistently.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But, like, that's what
yeah,
they're saying. That,
absolutely.
like 4 men have won, but 5 women have won 2, but 3 women in a row have lost so far. Like it's
Yeah,
like
I get
they've been booted. You know what
It's
I mean?
been mostly lady winners, actually.
Yeah,
as
I
of
feel like this
recently.
show is very. I think that
the
gender
last
hasn't
three,
really
actually,
played.
the last 3 seasons, women have won.
Yeah, but I get it. I know that in the beginning there was mostly men who were winning. But
Yeah.
but I mean,
for
we're
a
making
long
a comeback.
time though, like especially in this season, it was like the girls that were crushing it
Oh,
most
yeah,
of the time. I mean, Rob and Walter were the last men standing for a long time.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I am a little bummed that it's not 2 women and 1 man
man
going into the
instead of
finale. I will
2
say
men.
that.
Going into the finale, though, we have Melissa, Walter, and Rob. So, what are you guys thinking? We find out that next episode, going into the finale, they're going to be making characters for horror movies.
So excited.
They're gonna have, and I love having them actually have their characters
Yeah.
on screen. So, going into this challenge, who do you guys think? Who do you guys think are gonna take
Start
it?
from down there.
Michelle,
I think Melissa's gonna win it all.
you gonna go with Melissa?
I'm gonna go Melissa all the
All
way.
right. What do you say?
It's going to be interesting because as we've seen from Rob in these last couple episodes, he's really struggling with the time management thing. So I don't think it'll be him. I'm going to say Melissa also because I think that she has just consistently gotten more confident. But I also think that Walter's going to do a really good job leading a team. So I think either one of them could take it. I don't know.
I'm kind of in the same boat as Emma,
Yeah.
to be honest, because I really think Melissa could just blow it out of the water. But I also know that Walter's usually really good with the team, and he's also really good with time management.
Yeah.
Like every single time, he's always the first one in the molding room.
That's true.
So,
That's
accurate.
like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really would like Melissa to win because I think that she's just kicking butt.
Yeah.
every
She's
time.
so cool.
So I don't know, but yeah, it could go either way.
I think it's going to be extremely close, but
I do
just
too.
because the judges have consistently loved Rob so much,
Oh yeah, okay.
I feel like
All right.
Rob's
Very
going to take
possible.
it. I
Very
feel like
possible.
Okay.
Smart. All right. I like
feel
you
like-
playing
yeah.
devil's advocate.
I think
like
he's going to
that.
take it. I feel like he's going to. I feel like the
All right.
judges have just really shown that they are all about Rob. They're team
And
Rob.
I wouldn't hate it if Rob won because he's done some
no,
really
he's
good
not.
work.
I
I'll be
really
happy if any of them
Yeah.
win. They're
Oh,
all
yeah.
great.
They're all great.
well,
Either
luckily, one of them will.
Statistically, one is bound to win.
No, it's Mackenzie. Mackenzie wins face off.
Mackenzie wins everything for
I'm sorry,
that dress
Mackenzie
she wore on
wins
the reveal
life.
stage
Yes.
Did
tonight.
anybody else see that beautiful ruby red dress that she
Oh my
was
God.
pulling up
Yeah.
with candy apple?
I
can't
know,
remember.
right?
Yeah, on the reveal stage, so good.
Whoa.
So good.
What?
Fire.
No place like home. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, yeah, it really was.
It's gorgeous. Well, I would love to hear what you guys have to think too. So be sure to use that hashtag ABTVFaceOff. Let us know who you think is going to be heading into the finale. And in the meantime, where can we find more from you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Michelle_Cullen. I did it right that time.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Emma Fyffe, which is my name. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know everything I'm doing because I tweet a lot.
She does, and it's awesome. You can find me all over social media at atorres890. Please don't forget to go down to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ps890 to check out my hump day lunch hour vlogs that I do in my car, just talking on my lunch hour about random stuff. We talked about family vacations this time.
Nice.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Family vacations to Universal Studios.
Exactly.
Orlando.
We're going to take a little face-off family vacation. We're gonna do it. It's going to be awesome.
And you can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan, ALANAJORDAN, and on Instagram at That Alana Jordan Girl. And you can find all of us here back next week.
Bye. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.